right, welcome back to the Within podcast. This is your host, Nikki Wallace with Payne. We have our special guest, Nikki Russell, on today. Nikki has been a supporter of the Potential Within, and I should introduce a little bit of her. She's the owner here in Des Moines of Aptitude Fitness as well as Pause, both of which Allie and I have gone to and love. So yeah. We're excited to hear a little bit more about the women's programming that she has going on there. But Nikki, do you want to introduce yourself and we can kind of talk more about that?
Sure. Well, as Nikki said, I own Aptitude Fitness and Pause Studio. My husband and I opened Aptitude Fitness 4.5 years ago, and the opportunity really just fell in our lap, and we went and we ran with it without a plan. So we built this from the ground up, and I would say now that we're in year 4, we really know who we are and who our niche is, and so I'm excited. We're starting to embrace that and really lean more into it with creating more women's programming. Yeah. In the last year, I've created a cycle syncing nutrition program, so that learning how to eat and how to move your body in accordance to the different phases of your cycle so that you can really optimize your hormone production and feel great the entire time. Yeah. And then most recently, I earned my certification in perimenopause and menopause coaching. So coupling that with my nutrition certification as well. And, just helping women feel great and thrive throughout all of the different stages of life. At Pause, my husband and I have always felt very strongly that recovery is such an important part of the wellness journey. If you're thinking about physical recovery and then also the mental health piece. So we fell in love with Pause because it's bringing really ancient modalities in a really elevated, modern, spa-like environment. And all of the services have both a physical recovery aspect, but also a mental health benefit to it too. And so that's what we really fell in love with that franchise.
And you've had that has it been just over a year, around a year?
Yeah, we had our 1 year in February.
Hey, that's so fun. I know I always talk to people about the float. I know I talk to you about this all the time, but when looks like an egg almost or something. And I'm claustrophobic. So I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to turn off the lights and go in this thing for an hour. And I loved it. So I need to get back in there now that.
I know. I think I was there when you were done. I saw you walk out and you just looked so relaxed.
I know. I think someone on your staff was like, oh, she looks like she just was having fun back there. And I was like, I just am in a different headspace right now. So it was just a cool experience. That has to be one of the first ones in Des Moines, I would think. But
actually, right now, we're one of the only ones that has float therapy in Des Moines, but there were several other places they closed right before we opened. So we're happy to be able to continue to provide that service here.
Yeah, because I had heard about it a little bit. And then when I tried it, I was like, I hadn't tried it because I was nervous about going in and thinking I was going to be claustrophobic, but it was just such a cool experience. So I would highly recommend that to everybody. But yeah. Allie, you've been into Pause too, haven't you?
Yeah, I would recommend the contrast therapy. That's my favorite thing.
Yeah, so love that.
My husband and I went on a date. We did a date because I don't know why we didn't have kids that particular day, but we didn't. And so we always try and do something that's a little different and a little maybe outside of the box for a typical date night. So that's what we did. And it was so fun. And I've told tons of my friends to go do it, and they've all gone to do it too as well for date night. So it was just awesome. Not only was it a unique experience, especially for a date night, it was also just educational, which I always is just refreshing to, and I'm not a big drinker. And so I was I don't really necessarily need to go out to, for drinks. I would much rather do something that was more fun. So I appreciate Pause. And of course, moving to Wisconsin, I was so sad we don't have one here. So.
Not yet.
Yeah. An open one.
Hopefully one's coming.
Yeah, right?
I know.
I think it would
That's
be
awesome.
Hit.
Well, good. So let's talk more about your the cycle seeking program, and I know you're going to talk about it better than what I'm going to tee it up as. But when you talked to me about this a couple of months ago, it was it's such an interesting. There's so much conversation, I think, around the perimenopause and menopause. Allie's shaking her head because she's I'm talking about this all the time. Yeah. But how did you kind of get there, and kind of what does that program look like, feel like? I just think this is such a space that not enough people maybe are talking about, or not enough women have support. So I love that you're doing it.
Yeah, so I actually got here because of my own personal experience. I'm an endurance runner, and I was working with a male coach a few years ago, and I noticed that there were just certain times, certain weeks when I could nail all of my workouts. I was running really well, I was recovering fast, and able to just keep on going. And then there were weeks where I couldn't keep pace for the life of me. And then it took me twice as long to recover as it did the previous week. And I was looking at my nutrition. I hadn't changed anything with my nutrition or my hydration.
Yeah.
So when I asked my coach about it, he really didn't have a lot of advice for me. And so I went to, our friend, the internet, and started doing my own research and really started tying in the different phases of the cycle with what I was experiencing when I was running. And then communicated back to my coach at that time how I needed to be changing my workouts accordingly. And so that was really beneficial to me, but it was also a little bit frustrating that there wasn't any support already out there for me, and that I noticed it within my body and then went out and did my own research. Then when I got my nutrition certification, I decided to put it all together because I realized there are probably a lot of other women that are like me, noticing these changes, or maybe not even noticing the changes, but knowing that they don't feel the same during every single phase of their cycle. So I get kind of nerdy and, love getting into the details of how our bodies are changing. Our bodies are so fascinating, and our body is giving us cues like the entire time. So sometimes if you're feeling towards the end of your cycle in the luteal phase that you're tired, our bodies are naturally made to slow down during that time. But instead, we're in this culture that praises us for pushing through everything when we would be doing such a honor to our body to slow down during that time. And during that time too, a lot of people find that they're more hungry and that they're craving certain foods. But again, it's not in our culture to overeat, or not even overeat, but have a second helping if you feel like you had enough on your plate that first time. But we're actually burning more calories in the second part of our cycle, which is wild to me. So when we want to eat more, it's because our body is telling us that it actually needs that fuel, and it's telling us too what type of fuel it needs. So we are able to absorb and digest carbs more easily in the second half. So when we want to eat those carbs in the second half of our cycle, there's a reason for that too.
Dang. That's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I also am an endurance athlete, Nikki. And so when I also went through like sort of a same journey, although I had a hysterectomy in December of 2019. And so I didn't really have any problems like after the post hysterectomy, but the last couple years have been real rough, and like going from running 25 to 40 miles a week to like barely getting 12 in, it has been like a major issue for me. But it's like I just don't feel good, right? Like I don't.
Yeah. So
it's like how do you and I grew up in a family that didn't talk about any of this, right? So like we didn't even talk about like, oh, you got your period? What? For the first time, like, let's talk about what that really means. Like, I just grew up in a family that, we just happened to have pads and tampons. And it was like laying around, and you just had to figure it out for yourself, right? And I remember even like, this is way too much TMI, but I'm going to say it anyway. Like, I didn't even know how to use a tampon. So the very first time I used a tampon was literally, I just like stuck the whole thing up and was like, okay, like, this is super awkward. It's really uncomfortable. And then like, got done with swimming. I went swimming. I was on the swim team, so I was swimming. And then I got done, and I was like, why do you have to put that plastic thing up there? And one of my girlfriends was like, that's the applicator. I was like, literally no one told, like, I didn't have anyone telling me. And so if you don't grow up in a family where like you're talking about it, like going into perimenopause then is like a whole nother basket case, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's crazy where we're all at different places, right? And we're all at different places going into this like super unknown, whether you're an athlete or not. Like it's all this huge unknown that really no one is very educated in it. So I'm so thankful that there's people like you out there, Nikki, that are getting educated in this, because we need to like spread the word on there is help available. And if you are on this journey, like we have people that we can connect you with, which is what the Potential Within is all about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that it's becoming more of a mainstream conversation. You know, where you see it all over social
Yeah.
media. You hear about it more just when you're getting together with your girlfriends or talking about it. And I think that that is such a culture shift in such a great way that we don't have to go through this alone, that we can support each other. And also, it's totally normal. So, not just support each other as women, but how can our partners also support us too as we're
Right.
going through this? I think that it's super important that they understand what's going on, and so that you just have that, you know, you can lean on somebody or have somebody else help, like just come along and walk next to you, not feel so lonely.
Yeah.
Allie, as far as like your running, it's wild how it changes. So up until age 46, I was totally fine. And then I turned 47, or I was up until 45, I was totally fine. And then in my 46th year, I just turned 47, but it was when I was 46, I started noticing. So I used to be able to just walk out my door in the morning without eating, you know, just get dressed in my running clothes,
Yes.
go out for a run and feel fantastic.
Yep.
I have to eat now. And that's
Yes.
wild to me because I always worked out fasted and my
Me
body
too.
can't do it anymore.
Yeah,
I like
that's
get 3
exactly-
miles in and I can't move.
I know.
It's
I'm like, I have
different.
to walk. Why am I walking right now? I've never had to do this before. Oh, it's because I didn't eat.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So it's crazy how we're just metabolizing things differently because our hormones are shifting and we just have different needs. So
Yeah.
it sounds like you're like really in tune to your body too. So it's just listening to those cues is a lot of what I coach to. Is, you know, if we were to listen to our body, a lot of the times it's really telling us what we need.
Yeah.
So learning how to be intuitive, intuitive eating, moving intuitively, and not necessarily pushing through, even though that is what is celebrated in
Yes.
a lot of the workspaces and even like some fitness centers, but giving yourself that time to just step back and relax and give your body the rest that it needs to.
Yeah. Totally.
I know. So I'm one that I was like in my prior career, even up until like I probably had Nora, started having my health issues, like I would totally like, oh, just one more email, one more thing, you know, and then all of a sudden it's midnight and I got to get up at 5. And so I had not heard of cycle syncing. And I think actually somebody in one of our roundtables brought it up and I was like, oh my gosh. So I actually put it on my calendar, like when I'm in what part of my cycle and then like what that means. Cause I feel like I always forget like, okay, what does this part of it mean? And it was crazy when you started to like, I'm not an endurance runner. So like that part of it doesn't resonate, but I was like, from a business standpoint, I was like doing projects or aligning projects like with certain, and I don't, now that I'm pregnant, I've taken that all off of my calendar for right now, but it was wild how different when I lined that up or like towards the end. Yes, I was always like, oh, I just don't have the motivation to do. And it was when I started to honor that, it was crazy how different my workload felt to me, I think is maybe a better word, or like what that looked like at home, because then I wasn't totally burned out. So it's kind of fascinating.
That's one thing that I love too, when I'm coaching other women, is talking about that. I'm glad that you brought that up, Nikki, because it is also our cognitive function, the things that we're excelling at throughout our different phases changes too. So, you know, as our hormones are peaking and we're ramping up, that is when we are going to have the best memory recall. We're super sharp. We're going to want to be doing strategic thinking, a lot of big project ideas, also more creative during that time. So similar to you, as a business owner, I'm going to be planning out my social media stuff during that time because I'm more creative. And then we're also naturally more social during that time too. So it feels more natural to be you know, doing videos or reels or things like that. Versus the end of your cycle, I don't know if this has ever happened to any of you guys before, but I've like sat in my office and just, I want to do nothing but organize things and like tidy things and put things in their place. And I can't seem to get focused on a project. It's our hormones. Like, there is a part of our cycle where organization is what is the most natural thing for us to do.
That's so crazy. But I think I don't know anything about this. Like, this is all new to me. I love it. But you're literally speaking my language right now, because there are times where I'm like, I just need to redo things, like, right?
Yeah. And it got to the point where I, like, right before I got pregnant, I would even, because I do a lot of our social media, and it was like, I would block that Friday before, so, you know, and I'm like, okay, you have to get all of this done because next
Yes.
week you're not going to want to do this. So I would literally use that, that one Friday of the month that I was in that phase to do the next month's social media. So yeah, being pregnant, it has been a whole different story. I wish there was more cyclical hormones in that situation. So I'm excited to be able to go back to a little more predictability. But yeah. So when somebody signs up or like works with you, I have a couple of questions here. How do you even, so for someone like maybe me that knows a little bit, or Allie that maybe knows nothing, how do you even start this journey with someone? You said it.
I know.
You know a lot of things, maybe just not about perimenopause.
True.
But how do you even start that journey with somebody?
Yeah, so I work with somebody for a minimum of 3 months. I feel very strongly that it takes 3 months to form habits. And my goal when I start to work with somebody is I want to educate them. I want to be able to give my clients the tools so that they don't need me forever. I'm always here for support if they need a refresher or just need accountability again. But I want to be able to give you the tools so that you are empowered to do this on your own, but also make it sustainable for each and every client. Like you pointed out, Allie, you're different than Nikki. Nikki, you're different from Allie. So the coaching program that I would create for you guys would be completely different. Yeah. So I give them very customized, personalized nutrition plan depending on what their goals are, where they have been in their wellness journey, and where they want to go. The type of food that they may like to eat, or how they want to incorporate meal prepping and meal planning. All of that stuff goes into the nutrition plan. And then working with them on educating the different ways that honor our body with movement. Like, when is it the best time to go for a long run versus when is the best time to go and do yoga or foam rolling. And then also bringing in that cognitive function too, so that, like you said, you really know when to schedule what is going to be the most natural thing for you to do at work or at home, but in your daily life.
Yeah, I love that. I know, I'm like, after I have this baby, I gotta come to you.
Yeah, come see me.
Do you do all of it virtual, or how does that work
I can do it virtual. Right now, I meet with all of my clients in person. We have a 3D body scanner at Aptitude Fitness, and it gives me a lot of biometrics that I use to help me create the personalized nutrition plan. So if you're a client of mine, you're coming in, we're doing a body scan every 2 weeks. That helps me know what is working and also what's not working. If something's not working, I'm going to see it on there. And that just gives me a cue to talk through and make tweaks that are going to help make this a progressive journey in a better way for my client. But it's really cool because with the 3D body scanner, when you look in the mirror, you don't see the changes that other people do. But with the 3D body scanner, we're putting together like 3D models of you, like day one to like where you are here. And people can actually see visually the differences. And it is awesome to like have them, to watch them see the progress that they're making through the visuals that gives them.
Yeah. So I was going to ask, like, how's that different from like an in-body scan? I feel like a lot of people have come on and talked about an in-body. Like, what's the difference between that and a 3D?
Yeah. So we had the in-body scan, and I upgraded to the 3D. We have the in-body at Pause now. So you can go in. A plug for Pause. You can go in and do an in-body scan anytime too.
There you go.
So the in-body scan, it pulses through the water in your body. So it's very important that you're doing your scan before you have a lot to drink, before you work out, and at the same time of day consistently, because it's really important with that water weight. The 3D body scan is using a laser to scan you, so none of that stuff matters. So if my clients come in at different times, or they've had lunch, they've had whatever, it really doesn't matter when we're scanning them. It's going to be able to measure and track things the same way.
That's very cool. Does it look at similar like metrics then, like the percent body?
It does, but it even goes into bone density, so it has everything that the in-body has, but then it also has more.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that is cool. I've not heard of that yet. Huh.
Yeah, you can come. I mean, even if you're not interested in coaching, you can come to Aptitude Fitness and do a scan.
Yeah. You got a lot of fun stuff going on, Nikki.
Yeah.
We do. It's a really exciting time. I think that I'm passionate about working with women and empowering them to, take control of their health and help them through the journey.
What do you think is one thing when you see, because I know you see all types, I've been to your gym, you see all types of folks. What do you think is one thing, an easy thing that people can implement in their day if they're, struggling with their own health journey, but maybe don't want to go and do a coach yet? Or I know some people get intimidated by that, or maybe can't afford it at the time. Like, what's one easy thing people can implement in their day?
Yeah, I would say the first thing that I focus on with all of my clients is how much protein are you taking in?
Protein.
As a society, we are not getting enough protein in at all. The gold standard is about 1 gram of protein for each pound of body weight, but then I take it and I back it off 80% of that. In my coaching program, I go by the 80-20 rule. If you're hitting your goals 80% of the time, that is golden for me. No one is perfect. Yeah. And so I don't expect perfection. I can't even do perfection. So, making it so that this is something that is implementable is really easy too. And I think also reminding people to have a lot of grace with themselves, because you're not going to get it right the first time or even like the second time, but being able to reset the next day makes a really big difference.
Yeah. I love that. You don't really hear coaches say that very often. Most of the time they're like, this is your plan and you're going to do this.
Yeah. Right. But then you do it, right, for 12 weeks. And then when you go back and you're not following that plan, you're not as successful. So that goes back to the sustainability piece that I want to coach to.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Food has been such a big part of my journey, just taking, like, there's so many processed foods in our world today. And I that's like part of my personal journey is like, how can, personal mission maybe is a better word, is just like, how can you educate, like even my girls, I use this example a lot when I talk about this, but my father-in-law makes fun of me because he's like, your girls would rather eat a hard-boiled egg than, M&Ms or something like that. And I'm like, that's because they just don't have, like, I've tried to educate them of like, if you're going to eat those M&Ms, like, can we eat some protein first or whatever. There's just so much more education now and things that we didn't know 10, even 5-10 years ago. I mean, it's a lot has evolved in the last several years, but like your body just is craving and like needs those whole foods to be able to do its job and keep you healthy. So
sure
about that. So.
We're very similar in how we're raising our kids. Our kids, I mean, we haven't used the microwave with our kids. I mean, Josh and I feel like, my husband and I feel like we're so far gone. We use the microwave so many times, but we want to delay it as much as we can for our kids, just so that they don't get all the microplastics and all that stuff in their food. But I mean, that's just one example, and that it may be a little bit extreme. I know that that's not very common, but
yeah. The more you know, though, the farther you get into some of this wellness stuff, it is like you just have to. But you also have to choose like what's important to you, because you can't like do it all overnight. And I think that's one thing that was very eye-opening when I started working with people on the wellness side, is just like they would, give up after three weeks, or, I only lost 1 pound on a peptide. And it's like, your body can't, like, it goes through a lot of things in that month when you start a new program or you're maybe giving it what it needs. Like, you can't just, give up. There's things, that it also has to process and regulate to be able to function if it's, pretty off whack. So, yeah.
We don't use a microwave either, Nikki. So
really?
Okay.
No. And we don't even have one. So like we're remodeling a house, and they were like, oh, do you want to, in our kitchen, they're like, where do you want the microwave? And I was like, we literally don't use a microwave. And they were like, no, like
just eat stuff on the stove. Is that what you do?
Yeah. Or in the oven.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a Ninja air fryer, so it's like a toaster oven, an air fryer, all in one.
We don't even have that yet, but I do think we're going to get it. I think we need some sort of air fryer. I just got to figure out what's the right one.
Yeah.
So yeah, good to know. There's supposedly one at Target that is glass.
Oh wow!
A glass air fryer. It has like the glass dish, and supposedly that's like the best for all the things environment.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
I know. I've lately even been looking at a coffee maker to make that doesn't have plastic. It's like you go down all this rabbit hole of things. But I was like, oh my God, I've never even thought about the fact that the coffee you drink every day is heated in like a plastic mold that then goes into. So
Yeah. Well, and then we're at our house, we're purifying our water in a plastic container. Like we have a Brita. And so, but even like coming out of the fridge, it's coming out of a plastic spigot to get into what we put into another plastic holder.
Yeah.
There's so much. I know Heidi just got, what did she do, Allie? Like the reverse osmosis.
Reverse osmosis, yeah.
Like the, I think she likes it.
Yeah, we're doing that too. We also don't buy any plastic water bottles, or like we don't buy Gatorade or anything that's in plastic. We do everything. Either we mix it ourselves in glass or we don't do it. And that's all my husband. Like I had nothing to do with that. That's his big thing.
That's good. Yeah. Takes time.
It's a lot of extra work, I'll tell you that much.
I know.
So you have to pick and choose, right? So I think like, and just to follow up on what Allie said, like it's a lot of work. So I don't want anyone listening to this to get really frustrated that like, oh my gosh, I cannot do that. It's what is going to work for you. Right. We just kind of went off on a tangent about plastics, and that's not what's the most important to everybody. So choosing what is the most important thing for you, and not feeling like you have to do all of the things, but just like picking one and be consistent at that.
Yeah. That's such a good point. And I think we need to remind everyone of that all the time, right? Like you can't just do what someone else does or did and think it's going to be the exact same experience for you. Like each of you are on your own journey to health, your own journey to consciousness. Like all of that is about your own individual needs and unique needs. So good.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's just not feasible for everybody to, I mean, our world is filled with a lot of things that impact our body in different ways. And it's like, start somewhere. You'll go, if you start somewhere, you'll go down a path as well, the microplastics and all that eventually. But that's good.
So true.
Allie, do you have any other questions or anything, or Nikki, anything else you want to share about either? And look, we both love what you're doing, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, just thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's been great. We have to get more. You need to do more education for us. I think that everyone would benefit from just little snippets of, just things to think about or things to do, so.
So with that, I mean, you follow me on my socials at Aptitude DSM on Instagram and Aptitude Fitness Des Moines on Facebook, and we share a lot of things there. At Pause West Des Moines on Instagram, and we also post things about how to synchronize using our services at Pause with different phases of your cycle too, because our needs for that type of recovery service changes also.
Yeah. I know. I get your newsletters for Pause. I think I get them like every so often, and I do read them. They have a lot of good information, just wellness ideas and tips. So
it's
fun. Well, good. Well, we appreciate you coming on and sharing. I know my brain is like with our community that we're building, like how do we implement more of these? I agree with Allie, like the small snippets, because I do think a lot of people that have gotten involved with the potential within, like some people are like way down the path of like, we've changed everything and we're, we don't have the microwave and stuff. But more people are just really getting interested of, I don't feel good and I'm tired of not feeling good. I've even started to point it out when I go to clients. I tell the story a lot of like I walked in on an executive office and the girl was pounding her chest and she's like, oh, it's fine, it'll go away. I've just been working 17-hour days. And I'm like, no, that's not normal. Like, you brought it up a few times, Nikki, that the society we live on has normalized so much of this, and we're just, I'm growing old, so that's why my hair's thinning or this. Right. And it's like, no, those are all signs that your body are trying to tell you something's wrong. So some of that is age, but some of it is just, opening up. They're starting to open up their eyes and see. So I have some ideas of ways you can get more involved in all that. But
awesome. I'd love to hear them.
Well, good. Okay. Well, we appreciate you coming on today, and we'll make sure to put all your socials in the show notes so people know where to find you. And we will see everybody next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.